Welcome everybody to the first episode of the Taft Report. I'm your host, William Taft, and we have a great show for you tonight. We have former head mod and now acting head mod Espresso on as a guest later tonight. But first, our main story is about a blonde hog and a certain minister. More on that later. First, we have a word. Acting head mod Espresso has once again reared his tyrannical head in the Discord chat. A recently introduced feature allowed members to denounce one another, leading to a comedic denunciation of political rivals and scallywags. Espresso robbed us of that, so I, William Howard Taft, denounce Espresso in the name of all that is holy. The world shall know of your sins. Stick around. We'll be right back after this break. The Wolfram & Hart Law Firm would like to announce the creation of an antitrust institution, an organization dedicated to the elimination of corrupt elements from our government. The Parasol Corporation has always based itself on the endeavor of fulfilling the roles government has failed to conduct properly. In this, we refer to the ACC, which upon this organization's founding has failed to pass in the legislature. Despite this, House and several others have had numerous whistleblowers come forward with cases of government corruption and clear violations of the law. Therefore, it is left to the private sector to do what the government will not. We are looking for investigators to join and help fight corruption. They must not be members of government and dedicated to the cause of lawful governance. These people will be at the heart of the institution. Will you join the fight? Will you stop government corruption? Welcome back, nation. Our top story for tonight. Is Blonde Hog sane, and is he a member of a sex ring that includes Minister Unlike Bob and various other London elites? Folks, I was just moments ago speaking to Alice, an aide to Mr. Unlike Bob and an out-of-work actress living in London. In our conversation, she said, and I quote, "Mr. Unlike Bob would have me drive him out of the city twice a week to a large mansion on a hill. There I would wait outside while the sounds of an out-of-control orgy poured out. On more than one occasion, I saw the general entering the building as well, bare-assed but for a plastic horse mask." That's really horrifying stuff, nation. I mean, Blonde Hog should at least have the decency to disrobe once inside the sex mansion, not outside. The real question here is not why the general is having an orgy with Unlike Bob in a plastic horse mask, but why are they having them that times a week? I don't have the answer. Do you? It's kind of crazy. I don't know about you, but I can't do more than one orgy a month. It's just too exhausting. The real point to all this is, how can our general be trusted to keep our troops safe if he is galloping around with a minister who would rather see our sons and daughters die by Babylonian musket than prosper by Babylonian gold? A man who believes that death is glory and that an Englishman's purpose is to fight. Minister Unlike Bob is frankly unfit for office. A warmonger like that should not have the power to direct a war. Is a philandering minister the one you want choosing between your child's life and death? After the break, I'll sit down with Espresso. Don't miss it. War hurts more than just our boys in blue. War hurts our farmers, war hurts our miners, and war hurts our children. The SEP candidate for minister wants a quick war. Vote SEP. A vote for everybody. Paid for by Mothers Against Violence. You're watching the Taft Report on DNN, paid for by Atlas Rising, a Parasol company. Welcome back, everybody. Now we've had a turbulent week over here at Democraciv, and joining me to talk about it is Espresso, former head mod and now founder of the Fronts of Halcyon party. Give him a hand.
Well, I'm still waiting for someone to give me a hand. I really enjoyed the first part of this show. I can't remember any of it for some reason. I must have blanked out during it, so I'll just pretend that I already saw it.
Great. So how you holding up? How's life now as not a mod?
I'm still not serious, except when I am. I'm still a mod.
Yeah. Deputy mod now.
Yeah. I went back where I was comfortable.
Okay, that's where you want to be.
Well, I mean, I miss it because I thought I was in the right place, but, couldn't keep that up.
Uh-huh. What do you mean by you thought you were in the right place? Like, this is something you wanted to keep doing, it just didn't work out?
I didn't really like being the center of power of anything here, but I liked getting to see the stuff working and knowing, kind of reassuring myself that everything was going according to plan, that I could see where it all was, just kind of organize it all, and that was the best place for that to happen.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I know you've been asked this to death, but like, what's going on? We've had, for those of you who haven't been following too closely, we've had four head mods in the span of an hour.
Hmm.
Briefly, what's your advice for everyone? What should they know?
Uh, Knock it off.
Knock it off?
Yeah, knock it off. I really want to. I say this over and over. The mods are not part of the game. We never were supposed to be part of the politics. We're supposed to be running the sub. We're supposed to be doing all the busy work on keeping spam away, and our part in the rules is just a matter of uh, making sure everything's holding together, so we're not having anarchy and having to shut the place down for 2 months to redo everything. And we've become the target of politics. We're now a political office, and that needs to stop.
You know that there are some that say I've seen around that you saying you didn't want to be the center of power is contradictory. That that's not actually true. What do you say to those people?
Well, the thing is, it's like I get this irritant. I will start seeing something that isn't quite right, and it's going to bug me. And I'm going to start looking at it and trying to figure out, well, what needs to be done. And then I just start talking, and I just start talking, and I just start talking. Don't really try and control everything. It bugs me until I can see the whole picture of it. And I'm sure that really has been an irritant to people, and thinks that they think I'm throwing my weight around over everything. And there's some things that I'm very firm on, and part of it is the Constitution is the thing that brought me here. And if the Constitution is gone, basically I'm gone. Everything I've contributed is gone, and I don't have much reason to stick around.
Uh-huh. And we'll be having an article out on the three schools of constitutional thought in Democraciv soon on the Globalist for all of you globalist readers out there.
That's such an interesting thing. I was reading the statement by one of the court members who came up with the terms Domatorian and Espressian. It's like, I don't know what I think about that. And then, so I was talking to LePig, and I said, well, we need to throw in Imasian with that, and that covers everything.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna transition now. So now that you have no obligation to not be political, you've decided to go political. Why'd you choose to start the Front of Hausia?
because the Hausian People's Front needs to be addressed, they need to be shut down, stopped, and taken out and drawn and quartered, and then the remains need to be given away as souvenirs to the people of Kathmandu as we
Uh-huh.
liberate them from themselves.
Yes. Um, I agree. Damn the HPF. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the plight of Hausia? Why is this even necessary?
Well, the thing that really set everyone off in Hausia was when Big Glass City got renamed.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't for the entire fronts, but this was just the point where some of the Hausians said, "Hey, our name was taken away. Our name was changed. We have to redo all this paperwork now. We have to have new addresses. We have to have a new post office." And they weren't happy. And the Hausian identity has always been a big thing ever since 3 days ago, and it's very important to them.
Yeah, I mean, 3 days is practically an eternity. There have been claims and reports out of Kathmandu that the minority government has begun oppressing the Hausian people, the ethnic Hausians in that city. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that's absolutely true.
That's it.
Well, what else can I say? That part of it's coming from the English, and I am absolutely sure the Hausian People's Front is behind quite a bit of it as well. All I know is that the Hausian people within Kathmandu are completely being ignored, neglected, and abused.
Uh huh. What do you want an average English citizen to know about Hausia?
But Hausia is awesome and has a better culture than England, and England will never be better than Hausia, but is lucky to have Hausia within its borders. And as long as they accept Hausian rule, everything's all good.
Uh huh. And do you have a message for the Housing and People's Front?
Um, yeah, well, the only thing worse on the Housing and People's Front is thinking that there are some of the fronts that are sympathetic to the Housing and People's Front. And so I will have to look at each of these different fronts and see which ones are splitters and which ones are just really, really, really splitters.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining me here on the Taft Report. That's all the time we have. This has been the pilot episode. Come back next week and we'll have more for you, hopefully. Or DNN will cancel us.